Hello class, today we are looking at the law of cosines. Here is the formula for the law of cosines. In this formula, notice these lowercase letters are all sides. Okay, then this is the capital letter C. Okay, remember from our triangles, capital A, capital B, capital C for the vertices of the triangle. Lowercase letters are opposite, are across from. So in this formula, this is the angle that's across from that side. Okay? Side angle. They're across from each other. Okay. Now, so here's example number 1. In example number 1, we have information that is given to us as side, angle, side. That's from your geometry days. Okay? We are finding the side that's across from that angle. So I'm going to write down the formula once. C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus B cosine C. Okay? And then notice in the formula, this is the side across from the angle. Side angle. X squared is equal to cosine of the angle. Okay? Now I just have to fill in the A's and B's with those two numbers, because that's your side angle side. These are the sides that make up this angle. So we have 8 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times your 8 times the 12. Okay. Now everything's done in the calculator. X squared is equal to, and we can type all of this into the calculator exactly the way we see it. Make sure your calculator is in degree mode. So today I'm using a scientific one. Okay. So I have 8 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 8 times 12, and I'm just going to hit cosine 40, close parentheses, enter. And now I have 60.9194, so 60.9194 dot dot dot. And then, remember it says x squared is equal to, so we have to take the square root. So second square root, and then I am going to do ANS. Second ANS. I'm not going to type in all those numbers. That's your ANS. On the graphing calculator, it's the same spot. Enter. So I have 7.81. We're going to round to the nearest hundredth. So X is an approximation because we rounded off 7.81. Okay. So we just did question number 1. Okay. Question number 2. This is the exact same format. We have the same information. Side, angle, side. Side, angle, side. Okay? And we're finding the side that's across, from our angle. So again, x squared, x goes on the outside of the formula. So it goes on the outside. So I have x squared is equal to, then I can just fill in everything else. 5 squared minus 2 times 6 times 5 cosine of 75. Exact same steps, type it all into the calculator, and we got a spot for our answer when it's all rounded off. Okay, so I'm going to get it all typed into the calculator. So I have 6 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 6 times 5 cosine 75. Hit enter. So I have 45.4708 dot dot dot. And then don't forget to take your square root now. Second square root, second answer. Okay. enter. And then we have 6.74. Okay. Is our final answer once we round off. Okay. Question 3 now. It says, to the nearest minute, find the smallest angle of a triangle whose sides are 12, 15, and 20. Now notice on this problem, they're only giving us the sides. Well, let's go back to the formula. Let's look at what happens. And in the formula, notice all 3 sides, there's your variable. That's what we're looking for, the angle. So now the question is, what goes out over here? What is the angle? What's the side that's going to be across from this given angle? All right, so let's go back. So remember, let me draw our picture first. So this is our 3 sides. So we have all 3 sides now. So I have 12, 15, and 20. All right, going back to our geometry days, finding the smallest angle, that is always across from the smallest side. So smallest angle is across from smallest side. Okay, so 12 is the smallest side, so it's across from that's where our angle will be. Okay, so now what does that mean for the formula? So here's your formula. C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine of C, the angle. Well, what does this mean now? This is the side that we know that we're looking for this angle. Well, that means 12 is over here where the C squared is. And then you can leave it capital C, you can call it X. I think I'm just going to call it X because we always label our variables X. Okay, and then the 15 and the 20 are your A's and B's. So 15 squared plus 20 squared minus 2 times 15 times 20. This cannot all be done in the calculator. We're looking for the angle. Eventually, we're going to have to do inverse cosine. So we have to do our algebra. So 12 squared, 144, equals 225 plus 400 minus 2 times 15 is 30, times 20 is 600, cosine x. Okay. And now I'm going to combine my likes. I cannot combine all 3. This 600 cosine x is attached. This is all one unit. This is like saying 600c or 600y. You cannot combine it with these two. Okay? This is 600 is the coefficient of the cosine x. So these are the only two that we can combine. So I have 144 is equal to 625 minus 600 cosine x. Remember, I cannot subtract these two because the 600 is attached to cosine x. So the algebra tells me subtract 625 from both sides. So minus 625 equals, now I'm going to bring this down, and then typing this into my calculator, I have 144 minus 625, and I have a negative 41. Okay. Now, remember, we're solving for cosine x. Eventually, we have to do inverse cosine. So all I have to do is divide both sides by a negative 600. Now, you can type this into the calculator and get this god-awful decimal. Okay? But everything now is all done in the calculator. What do I mean by that? Okay? Well, if I were to type this into the calculator, we would have So there's my negative 41 divided by negative 600. So I have a positive, a 0.801666 dot dot dot. Okay? Remember, we're looking for x, the angle. We have to do inverse cosine. Remember, inverse cosine is a cosine with a negative 1. There it is right there. So second cos, and now I'm going to do ANS. Second ANS. Close the parentheses, hit enter. And so we have angle x is equal to 36.7104 dot dot dot. Now, my question said to the nearest minute. So how do I get this to the nearest minute? Well, on this calculator, I need to hit that button right there. And then notice my symbolisms here. My symbols, there's your degree, your minute, your second, radians, gradients, and then all I gotta do, there's my arrow right there. So I'm gonna keep scrolling until I get all the way over to the end. Oop, I went too far. There it is, DMS, degrees, minutes, seconds. Hit enter, enter, and there we are, 36 degrees, 42 minutes, 37.6 seconds. Okay, now what does this mean? How do we round this off to the nearest minute? From your previous videos that you watched, this is, remember, 30 seconds. 30 is half of a minute, so this is more, 30 is more than halfway. So this becomes 43. This 3 will bump that 2. So we have 36 degrees, 43 minutes. Okay, is our final answer to the nearest minute. Something else that you could have done in the calculator, scientific or graphing, you do your, in this calculator, cosine inverse. Remember, it gives you an open parentheses. So you could have just typed in your fraction. And then hit equal. You'd have your exact same answers. Okay, let's do one more question. Okay, so essentially the same question. To the nearest minute, what is the largest angle of a triangle whose sides are 8, 9, and 10? Well, so largest angle is across from the largest side. Okay. 8, 9, 10. Here's my longest side. Here's the angle that we're finding. So remember, in the law of cosines, here's the law of cosines. There's the side. Here's the angle. So 10 squared goes on the outside. And then we have our 8 squared plus the 9 squared minus 2 times 8 times 9 cosine of, you know what, this time I'll use a big letter C because we're looking for that angle C. Again, everything's the exact same way. You cannot type this into the calculator. You have to do the algebra. Well, I know my 10 squared, 100 equals 64 plus 81 minus 2 times 8 times 9 is 144. Cosine C. Use the letter C. Okay. Again, we can combine those. I cannot combine that. So 100 is equal to 145 minus 144 cosine C. Okay. Remember, it can't combine because it's attached to the cosine. So I have to subtract 145 from both sides. So that gives me a negative 45 is equal to a negative 144 cosine C. Okay. Technically, you're done. Everything you can do in the calculator. If you want, you can show that division step. I'll divide both sides by the negative 144. And I'm going to go right to my calculator. I'm going to do the cosine with the negative 1, your inverse cosine. And I'm going to drop the negatives. 45 divided by 144. And we'll get this to an angle. We'll get this to an angle, so angle C. And then we'll do right to the degrees, minutes, and seconds, to the nearest minute. So, second cos, 45 divided by 144. Hit enter. So there's the 71.7900 blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to go right to my DMS right now. So there's my degrees, minutes symbol. I have to go get my DMS. There's my DMS. Hit enter, enter. So, all right. So how do I round this off to the nearest minute? Well, there's the minutes right there. There's 24 seconds. 2 is not halfway. Remember, 30 seconds is halfway. So we have 71 degrees, 47 minutes. Oops. 71 degrees, 47 minutes is the largest angle. Okay, so what information did we have in order to use the law of cosines? Info. So on the first two problems, you had your side, angle, side, and you found the missing side. In the last two questions, remember we had side, side, side. In the last two questions, we had side, 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 and we found an angle. So there's our info for using the law of cosines. Okay, folks, good luck with your homework.